Hello, everybody. I know this has been a long time coming, but I finally acquired one of these 1982 Ford Escort cataloger brochure. Kind of a thick guy, but it's because 82 and 83 were kind of the pinnacle of these cars. They had the most amount of options. So let's get into it. Well, these 82 books, they're pretty nice. They're all very uniform. Here's 82 EXP, 82 Escort. Um, that's just Ford from the time being quite uniform. 83 Escort, you can see that's practically identical to 83 EXP. So they were very consistent and makes for a very nice look when you have a running collection of these. So the front corner, the 82 ones, they feature the metallic silver top banner, and then a decent overview photo of whatever car it's on. These, of course, going to be Escorts. And then on the back, it's pretty much the same thing, but you see the rear of the car. And it's like that in the EXP one too. You flip it around, it's the back of the car. Front side's the front. Fun fact, the car on the back of this one is different than the car on the front. This one has a sunroof, this one does not. How about this one here? Two-tone car, Escort. Did I say GLX? Holy crap, a GLX. It's fairly loaded, but no rear wiper. No TRX wheels. Not that loaded. Yep, same car. Shoo, let's pop this open. Now, I haven't looked at this before, so you and I are viewing this together for the first time. Starts out at the top, Ford Escort for 1982. Now, 82 is a big year for the Escort. That was when they introduced the four-door here, what I call the sedan. For 1981, they had two body styles. They had the two-door, which I call the coupe, and the five-door wagon, which I just call the wagon. The 82 book, it's one of the few books that actually has a decent photo of all three of these in the same frame, so you can see the differences. There's quite a few differences, but there's a surprising amount of similarities here. Believe it or not, the rear hatch of the sedan and the coupe is identical. They interchange without any kind of issue. And the front doors of the sedan and the wagon are exactly the same. They interchange without issue. The back doors, however, are different between the sedan and the wagon. Something to keep in mind. And then whenever there's a large photo like this, they'll actually have a subtitle here, and it'll kind of describe it. So front to rear, we show a Escort GLX four-door hatchback in two-tone. You can see it's darker on top, dark pewter over light pewter, also shown in front back covers. So this is the same car that we saw on the front, and that's why there's a sedan up front, because it's a new body style. Really trying to sell that new body. And then Escort GLX two-door hatchback in the same color. Actually, sorry, not in the same color combo. This one is only in dark pewter. Kind of hard to tell because of the lighting. It looks like it's two-tone, but it's only the dark color on the top of this one. And then the wagon, interestingly enough, is only the single bottom color. So two-door in the dark pewter, and then we have a GLX four-door wagon in the light pewter. It's pretty cool. They're all GLXs. They're all kind of trimmed out the same. They each have the same stamped SS or EXP wheels, however you want to look at it. There's fancy mirrors, fancy bumpers, and on a Venn diagram, they all share colors. Very nice. Next page is a look into the GLX interior. It's pretty fancy. The GLX is one of the few trims that actually gets you a full center console. That's a big deal in the Escorts. All the 82 and 83 EXPs and all the Escort SSs or GTs will have the full center console. But any of the non-performance cars, it's a rare treat if you can have those. But when you don't have the performance car, this is what you have in that lower console. Sorry, you get this kind of idiot light setup, and it works decent. If your wiper fluid is low, that lights up. If your either headlight has an issue, that lights up. If you're out of fuel, that lights up. Tail light out, brake light out, those light up. Kind of self-explanatory. Clock it shows here, it's in the center of the car. Kind of optional across all the models. This car in particular has the cheap cluster. It has one of the nicer padded steering wheels, but no cruise control. Usually when you see these steering wheels, they have cruise control equipped. I can't tell what the wiper stock is. This is an automatic car. You can tell because there's no shift boot, and that chrome lever is for the automatic. There's also no clutch pedal. Wood grain radio panel and wood grain instrument cluster surround is neat. This car has factory AC. It's a big deal. GLX has nice remote controlled mirrors. They are manual though. So there's a little joystick down here on each door, and the joystick runs the mirror attached to each door. Clockwise graphic display warning module indicates low fuel, yep, and everything else. Digital clock with elapsed date time loadouts. Yes, you can actually, there's a stopwatch feature, there is a date feature, and there is a time feature on these. They're pretty cool. Yes, reclining low back seats, and they actually say what colors they are. So the color of the seats are medium red, and the type is cloth. So it's cloth bottom and top, or bottom and back, with vinyl sides or wraparounds, however you want to call that. They are the low backs with the separate headrest that goes up and down, and they do recline. Some of the cheapest Escorts, they don't even have recline. Total peasants cars. GLX cars. Yeah, more. they're really trying to showcase these guys here. So, like it says to the right is a GLX 4-door hatchback in medium blue metallic. Yeah, pretty cool color. Center is a standard console with graphic display warning module. Yeah, we had seen that earlier. There's another automatic. Fun fact, this automatic shift knob and stick that we see here, that's only for 81 through 82. Maybe 83, but I'm pretty sure it's only 81 and 82. It is actually. In 83, they changed it. It goes from a notched pattern to just a straight forward and back. But maybe the knob stayed the same. Eventually, they switched to the T-shaped knob with a button to shift. Far right, GLX interior in black cloth and vinyl. That's a very cool interior. SS's are very similar to these. They're so freaking cool. And then this one in particular, automatic, lower cluster, cruise control, low back, cloth seats, very nice. And below is a Escort GLX in yellow. Yellow is a very rare car amongst these, or a very rare color amongst these cars. Yellow was only in 81, 82, and 83. And the 81 yellow is different than 82 and 83. So that has to be mentioned. Then the GL series. So we kind of started at the top, and we're working our way down here, trim level wise. Right, we have a Escort GL 2-door hatchback in bright red. It's kind of coming up on camera. In person here, it's like a lipstick red, kind of pushing pink, but on the camera here, it's showing a tad orange. Center bucket seats reclined to 15 positions. I don't think it's that many notches. I think it's more like 6, maybe 8, but I swear it's less than 12. I bet it's 8ish. Far right optional low back bucket seats and medium cloth red and vinyl. Yeah, we mentioned those earlier, but this is the GL pattern now. You can see it's a little different. These are actually exactly what's in my 81 wagon, like to a T. But no full center console. This is just the consolette, they call it, the mini console on the floor. No cruise on the wheel, but it is padded. No clock here, no AC, Jeep gauge cluster. And then below is a Escort GL 4-door in the bright blue metallic. These blue ones are real pretty. The yellow is cool, but the blues are pretty. This one actually has a rear wiper. Pretty rare. Oh, look at that, even a sunroof. Now, I can't speak for how rare the sunroofs are on Escorts, but on EXPs, they only occupy about 1/4 of the population. Now we're focused on the L's. So to the right is an Escort L 2-door in medium blue metallic. Very cool. Center is a standard AM radio that can be deleted for credit. I've seen cars like this. A friend has an SS yellow Escort that had a radio delete. I don't remember if that was factory or dealer, but it definitely does not have a radio or any kind of speakers in it. And then it says standard Escort high back bucket seats in vinyl. So this is the full vinyl option for 82, and the cheap steering wheel to go with it. It is padded, but there's 0 features there. And then something really special here. Escort L 4-door hatchback in light spruce glow. This is a very special color. It's only for 1982. And in all the photos I've seen of Escorts, I've only seen one of these. And even this here, this is only the second time that I've ever seen any kind of photo or illustration or anything of an Escort being in this color. It's not common on the camera perfect. Maybe that's a little bit more accurate. It's like a very light mint. It's slightly aqua. There's a hint of blue, but it's mostly light metallic green, very reminiscent of like the 70s Porsches that were painted in what I'd call metallic mint ice cream. Very rare special color. So seeing them in full size, full color like that is quite the treat. Now we're finally to the GT series. Very, very nice stuff here. So on the right is instrumentation. So on the GTs you do get the full instrumentation. Before it was only the speedometer and then fuel gauge. I think that was it, just speedometer, fuel gauge, and you don't get a temp gauge, you get a temp light, and there's no tach. They're very crude and basic. This also has, the cheap cluster has a tripometer and odometer too. We'll go over here before we show the full car. Now it shows also the leather and shearling seats. So it's essentially sheepskin, as we call it. Real leather on the side bolsters of these, and then shearling sheepskin in the centers. And then here is the special feature, 1982 Ford GT in bright red. And I think it's going into body styles now before it talks about all the options. So here we're looking at the four-door wagon. It's talking about some of the features of it. Yes, some serious cargo space, 58 cubic feet. That's really good. The far right shows a wagon in bright red. It's one of the cheaper ones. You can see it's got a chrome mirror, and that is a manual mirror. We call them shaving mirrors. So it's just one pane of mirrored glass on a chrome shell, and you have to reach your hand out the window and position it. Versus these remote ones where you have that joystick in the middle of the door, and manipulating that works the mirror around. And then below is a woody wagon, a very well trimmed one that says GLX. It does. GLX four-door wagon and fawn with Squire option. I think these are also TRX wheels. So if that's the case, this guy's is pretty loaded. So we have vent windows, very rare. Remote mirrors, pretty rare on an Escort. Woody package, maybe TRX setup. Roof rack. GLX bumpers and trim. Oh, okay. I guess that was it. So they were just kind of focusing on the Squire package setup. And then we get an overview of the 82 cars towards the end. And there's a small set of photos of each of the prints we saw earlier. And it goes together. There's two brief paragraphs on Ford as a whole, and a couple of paragraphs on the Escort L. You're welcome to pause as needed, and I'll just sit here and focus so that you can hit pause on the screen. There's also GL and GLX. And then there's GT. For 1982, they had dropped the SS package trim. So the Escort SS is no more. It's now an Escort GT, and it'll remain this way. But 82 is also the first year for Ford to get their blue ovals back on the cars. Here's kind of a technical page, whether it's engine or transmission, suspension, steering. A lot of interesting information here, as well as some pretty good images here. It's a very good cutaway of a 1.6 VH, not the high output one though. Anyways, it talks about most of this stuff. I don't need to talk about it because this is stuff that we see on every single one of these sheets, or brochures, I should say, books, catalogs. Brags about aerodynamics, but I have to say that the Escort aerodynamics aren't all that awesome. It's the EXP aerodynamics that are really nice. My whole time driving the wagon this winter, a little bit of wind is just brutal on that thing. Versus like an EXP, it's a difference between hauling an enclosed trailer and an open one. It's a huge difference in aerodynamics. And below is, I believe, a black GT. There should be some sort of subtitle. Nope, apparently not. There won't always be one, but if there's a full-size print, there usually was one. Okay, data center. So, lists out pretty much standard features. And then off to the right are more specifications. So I'll let you read what's on the left here. And then we'll get into this chart. So basically it's a pretty good shootout of each of the trim models. Mostly mechanical under the hood stuff. Then exterior body stuff trim. Interior mostly trim. Some comfort and luxury features. And there are some notations where some of it is only available. The GT is only on a two-door hatch. And they have to mention that because in 81, you could have the SS as a wagon or the coupe. But when they changed that to a GT, long gone was the performance wagon. Some basic measurements here. Nothing too crazy. These are just the same cars. Fuel tank capacity had been consolidated into 11-gallon tanks. 81, they were 10-gallon tanks. Colors and trims, that's a neat table actually. You can see what kind of interior colors you can have for each of the exterior colors. I'm slowly working on a spreadsheet chart for these. I do have one that has like all of our registry cars in it, but then it also has all of the interiors and all the colors. But I'm slowly making a separate spreadsheet for combinations of colors and trims because they're a little bit more intricate. More of that EPA measurement statistics. Some riffraff on the side. And then some of the more prominent options are listed here. And then some of the more intricate ones will actually have a very large full-size photo. So like the AM FM cassette stereo and factory AC, the overhead map light, cruise control, sunroof, rear defrost, rear wiper. It's only showing 2 wheels here. There were 3. Tires and wheels here. You can have a 165 80 13. Yep. Cast aluminum wheels. The I are the cast ones. The H are the EXP wheels. The SS wheels. So maybe you couldn't get the TRX package in here. Looking around and it's not looking like it. It's interesting. Maybe it's just because this was an early print, or maybe it never came around for the Escorts. But that was kind of it for that. Now this is fully viewable and completely available for free, absolutely free on Ford Heritage's website. And you'll actually find these in a couple different languages. There will be an English one, there should be a French one, and there should also be a Spanish one. So if you've been reading subtitles up to this point, good news for you. You will find these there. And they're free to download. You can print them out at home, do whatever the heck you want with them. It's awesome that they provide that service, but I still like going through these with people because sometimes there's a few versions of these. So like I showed you this 82 EXP one. Here's another 82 EXP one. And as we get into like the LN7 books, they just really get all over the place. Like there's 4 or 5 different LN7 ones. It's just crazy. But I've been rambling long enough. I gotta let you guys go. If there's more of these you want to see me to do, let me know. I try getting these whenever I can. I don't seek the Escort one specifically. So now I have all of the years that I personally want. So if I run across any others in lots or with my EXP stuff or see them real cheap, I do try to snag them. But overall, I'm not actively looking for the Escort ones, and I actually have all the EXP ones and L7 ones. So brochure and catalog wise, kind of tapped out unless I find a couple more Escort links ones. But we'll get there if we get there, and when we do, we'll be back.